Hello summoners, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to do a tier list update for the month of March. Now we had two new characters coming in with MCOC and Odin. We also had 4 buffs, also one of them got reverted with Hood, but the other 3 are Angela, Massacre and Civil Warrior. And on top of all that, I just made a lot of changes based on the comment section of the previous tier list video. So if you see any character here where, let me scroll down, if you see any placement here which you don't agree with, then do let me know in the comment section down below and try to give a reason of why you think that character should be promoted or demoted, and we can discuss it over there. But anyways, this is my tier list and it starts with the legendary category. It has only 2 characters in it, Quake and Ghost. In my opinion, they are far superior than any other character in the game, mostly because they don't have to take damage in order to get an opening with Quake's evade, auto evade thing, and Ghost's phasing. But of course they all have certain matchups where they won't work. Like with Quake, you don't want to go up against anyone who has power gain, or technically a lot of skilled players can also do that. I have seen people Quake Havocs and stuff in Alliance Wars, and if you are if you have seen the Summoner Showdown thing, then the Anger Danger, he just quaked matchups which are really bad for Quake. But with Ghost, you don't want to fight anyone who has access to armor break, like Hulkbuster, even Angela now after her buff. Like as soon as she throws the special attack, it doesn't matter if you get hit by it or not. You could be very far away but you still get armor break, which is not great. But then Angela is not really a great defender, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, coming back to the changes, let's talk about the promotion. So Professor X, he was earlier in Knights, he's now promoted to Kingsguard, mainly because now I've thought that the top 10 mutants, in my opinion, they'll be here in this category, and anyone else, even though I think Domino and Emma Frost and Havoc and even Wolverine with the Apocalypse synergy are really good, really strong characters, because mutant class is so stacked, the resources used mutant catalysts, people are always low on them. So because of that reason, they are 1 tier below, even though they are probably stronger than characters in their respective tier. But anyways, the other change was I also promoted Emma Frost. She was in Squires. I do think that she deserves to be in Knight. She has a lot of utility. On top of that, she also has some decent damage with the provinces and everything, a lot of immunities too. So there's just she's a very versatile character and she deserves to be in this tier. Now moving on, we have the 2 new characters coming in with where is he? Odin. I think he is not a bad character, but at the same time, it's just that Odin is supposed to be this ultra powerful character, and he's not that. His damage is not bad. He doesn't bring too much utility. He has a true strike on the SP1. It has a decent amount of time. He has energize, so he gains more power than your usual character. You can stack a lot of you can keep 100% uptime on the true strike, I believe, but there's just so many better. You can go with Nick Fury with some tactical charges, or evade Aegon with a combo, or even Void has auto evade stuff going for him with his one of his debuffs. And there's just so many characters, Moorman especially. You don't even have to do anything, you just straight off have True Strike. So that's the reason I don't think True Strike is really a huge ability that on its own would make him better than these characters. So his damage output is not bad with the Fury and stuff, but he after the first fight he kind of have to take a break for 2 more. So he's just a kind of weird character. Although the pre-fights, they have their uses, we have seen a lot of content over the last 2-3 days. You can see he makes Hela insane, he makes Angela really good, characters like Red Goblin or Silver Surfer. So there are a lot of also Ghost. There are a lot of fun interaction with Odin and his pre-fights. The protection is going to be very useful in my opinion, and stuff like incursions and Alliance War. And then we have Black Bolt. I think I'm going to upgrade Black Bolt live here and bring him to he does anyone who is italics, it means that they need synergies. Without those synergies, they would not be in that tier. But Black Bolt, if you have the Hit Monkey synergy and the Medusa synergy, he is really good. He hits like an absolute truck. He took down Labyrinth of Legends Star-Lord in roughly 3 minutes, which is like faster than almost all the characters in the game, and his damage output is just a little bit ridiculous. He is low on utility, but I would put him here. Let me shift down, put this here, and I recently made a video on it if you guys want to check that out. But I do think Black Bolt with the synergies is very underrated, and the big thing is that his synergies, they are all with good characters like Black Bolt, Hitmonkey, Medusa, and you can throw in a Odin there, all really solid characters. So that is the reason he's there in my opinion. And then we have where is MCOC? Let me scroll down. So MCOC is here. I think he's kind of similar. He's a little bit worse version of Dragon Man in my opinion. He brings in a lot of stuff. He is immune to bleed. He takes less damage from recoil. He has a pretty weird mechanic where you want to like hold block. You have to make sure the opponent doesn't have that much power, and then like use your special 2. Then they'll be stunned. You hold your block and they'll come at you. You're going to hit them, do massive damage. But damage wise, I did a damage comparison between him and Dragon Man and Clairvoyant, and he lost both those damage comparisons. So it's not, his damage is not bad, but it's not great either. He does have some utility for sure, but overall I don't think he's good enough to be in this top tier, and he's alright here. So now moving on to the buffs, let's talk about Angela first. I think she got the best buff of all characters. She already had pretty decent damage. Now it's a little bit better, but mainly it's that awaken ability. Like Angela's awaken ability used to be useless. It only had one use in 6.1 exploration, I believe. There was this one fight where it was buffed up, and you also had a node where your buffs got nullified. So Angela's awaken ability, it used to be that it had a chance of the opponent's nullify to fail, but now with the debuff thing, it's really huge. Like she can do some crazy stuff. That's a lot of utility with a character who is great with suicide masteries. Like she has almost permanent regeneration, which is very sustainable, and she hits hard. She brings in utility. Great character in my opinion. Definitely a top tier Cosmic, not as good as Corvus, Captain Marvel movie, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Hyperion in my opinion, but still very good. And in some situations she could be better than these, depending on, like if you're running, let's say based on some mastery setups and things you need. That is something that I do want to talk about, and I think I'm going to make a video on how to rank up characters in the game. There could be situations where, let's say you are a player who hasn't done Act 5 completion yet, and you have 4-star Medusa and 4-star Corvus Glaive. There are like, maybe there is a good chance that Medusa will help you more. The reason is, even though Corvus on paper is more powerful, you kind of need to have suicide masteries. He scales up really well. And Medusa, she completely shuts down robot. Act 5 final boss is a robot. Maybe if you don't have a Magneto, she could help you more than a character who is in tier above. So whenever you're ranking up characters, of course if you have to choose between Groot or Corvus Glaive, a tier list could be helpful in that, although most people already know the difference there. But when you're talking about two good characters, then you want to look at what do you want and then rank up based on that. But anyways, coming back to the other buffs, Massacre, where is he? So Massacre, I think he has good damage output now. He already had pretty good damage. It's just that he is more reliable now because you have longer durations on everything. The ignited phase and also the ignition charges. So it is like, even there are situations where the opponent loses the incinerate, and then like when the opponent has incinerate, then gaining the charges is easy when you drop out of the ignition phase. But once they lose the incinerates, then you have to hit him through the block or get critical hits. So he is pretty solid now, I'd say, damage output wise, but doesn't have any utility, which is why he is below this tier. I think all of these characters are better than him, but I'd say he's very similar to a character like, let's say, his damage output is probably higher than Black Widow, Deadly Origin and Squirrel Girl, but they also basically face the same thing. They have good damage, they don't bring in any utility. And Killmonger is complete opposite. He brings in a lot of utility, he has no damage. And Gwenpool kind of has both a little bit. Awakened ability is nice. Like, I would love to buff Gwenpool because I'm a huge Gwenpool fan. She was one of my first 565 characters. Like, I got her back in the day. She was probably my first featured 4-star character that I got. So that was like, I really enjoy Gwenpool. But again, moving on to the next buff, who is Civil Warrior. So he's not very high on the list, as you can probably tell. I should probably buff Star-Lord, but I don't know. I don't like Civil Warrior buff that much. I used to, like, when I used him in Realm of Legends, I was like, he's alright, he's a pretty good character. He already had utility. I used to love his design. He had one of the best motion comics at that time, and I just really like Civil Warrior because of the power drain, the heal block, easy access to the heal block and stuff. But even after his buff, we can either have the, like, it's very hard in situations where you need very good power control. You have to spam the SP2s, and it's just very stressful to maintain those furies. And I do not enjoy his playstyle at all. Like, in my opinion, he is one of the most stressful characters to play in the game. Like, even someone like Gamora, I have her above him, and I think that makes sense because Gamora is kind of similar in the sense that she gains a lot of buffs as you go on with your fight. But the thing is, like, you can refresh them very easily with one heavy attack, and doing one heavy attack is much easier than dashing back and then holding block. And then if you are playing against aggressive AI, they'll come at you, they'll use their heavy attack, and it will just be an annoying situation. I might actually buff Star-Lord. I think Star-Lord is still really good, but basically, like, Doc Ock and Punisher 2099, like especially Punisher 2099, I think after his buff is massively underrated. He brings in good damage, long armor breaks, decent amount of utility. Like, the power control on him, very unique but very effective at the same time. And Doc Ock, of course, he can cheese a lot of stuff. Great power control character, and then these guys are definitely way superior. But I think Star-Lord might get a buff sometime. And I think that's all with the buffs. We talked about all three, and besides that, did I make any other changes? I'm sure I did, but it's sometimes hard to find these like all the changes. I did move Bishop up one tier because I think he's average. For a newer player, he could be useful in situations like Magic. It's just that when he was released, Blade was either already in the game or released very shortly. I think he was already in the game, so Bishop, he didn't have a use, but then he is capable of good damage output and some taking off some tricky fights, which is why he's an average. Like, it's a promotion, but then I would like to see a Bishop buff in the future. He doesn't need too much. A little bit would be nice. Actually, let's do this. Psylocke, she does benefit a lot from the Apocalypse synergy, and that is I did take down Domino. Like, I don't know, Havoc and Domino. Havoc I also included. I recently made a top 10 mutant video where I had Havoc on the list, and earlier I said that I think top 10 mutant deserves to be here. But the thing is, like, Cable with the Apocalypse synergy is a top 5 mutant even, in my opinion. So he kind of took Havoc's spot, and then Domino, I really don't like her that much anymore. I have her at 565. It's been a very long time since I've had her 565. I don't really use her. I place her on defense sometimes, but offensively, I even have a rank 3 6-star Red Hulk. Even then, I don't use Domino that much. She is very powerful, but with time, I think these mutant characters, they have something more than her. She's not very reliable. Her damage can just fluctuates so much, and utility wise she doesn't have too much going on for her. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Let me know what do you guys think of the tier list video. If you have been watching so far, then do leave a like, because these videos, they tend to get a lot of dislikes as well. So usually they are the only videos who have a like to dislike ratio of less than 90%. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Like this video, share with your alliance, and happy Friday. Bye bye. Stay safe.